So hello and good morning to you. It is a dreary, cold, wet, horrible Thursday, but we're here to try and make your life more interesting, happier and more informed. So if you want to help me out, then click the subscribe button, and even better than that, if you can, click the join button. There's a join button on the main page and you can become a supporter of this channel. If you can't do that, you can't commit, then maybe you'd like to have a t-shirt or a mug. AndyWrightShop.co.uk is where you need to go. Buy yourself a nice mug or a t-shirt. Anyway, moving on, this story was featured in the Telegraph. However, I cannot read the Telegraph because you have to pay. A news outlet that you have to pay for. Ridiculous. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the Mail Online. Same story. This is Jeremy Hunt regrets 2-year social care cap delay. As Sir Dilnot says, making people wait for cost protection is inhumane. There is a £86,000 cap on social care in England, which is no longer coming into effect next year. And this move, confirmed by Jeremy Hunt, is expected to save £1 billion in 2023. But the man behind the key social care overhaul branded the delay as inhumane, and there was no excuse for the postponement of the reform. Apparently, 150,000 people have died waiting for care. So that's in the last 5 years. So Sir Andrew, whose original plan would have come into force next October and would have limited the amount anyone would have to pay for care in later life to 86,000, said there was no excuse for this delay. So what it is, if you have money and you need care, you have to pay for it yourself.
We wouldn't dream of saying that to somebody with chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder who needed health care. Why on earth should we say it to people who need social care? It seems inhumane, and it was a delight that these changes had finally been promised. People are already relying on the fact that they were promised.
Because the promise had been made, they were counting on it.
It was announced in September of last year. It was passed through Parliament. I've spoken to families in the last year who are waiting with bated breath for October of next year.
Obviously, there are people who are in desperate need, and they're the only group of people whose risk is faced on their own rather than together. We wouldn't dream of saying to somebody diagnosed with a terrible cancer that they're on their own until they spend at least 23,000 of their assets, which is what it currently is. Yeah, so if you have more than that, then you have to pay. It does mean that people have to sell their homes, which obviously would have been otherwise inherited by their families. The move to delay the caps is expected to save £1 billion next year and up to £3 billion in the subsequent years if it's pushed back. But when you consider how much money they wasted in the last 2 years, you know, 1 billion, 3 billion is nothing compared to 37 billion for PPE that failed, right? So let's put this into perspective. So the Chancellor told a BBC Breakfast, "I'm a Conservative Chancellor that's put up taxes. I've had to delay those reforms to social care, which is something I passionately did not want to do. And I'm also a liar." But hey, there you go. Experts warn it will leave thousands facing catastrophic costs for their care and potentially forced to sell their homes. Ahead of the announcement, experts have said the delay would be cruel and wrong. no more than it usually is for disabled and elderly people. And of course, delivering his autumn statement, Mr. Hunt also revealed the ailing social care sector will get 1 billion more cash next year and 1.7 billion the following to provide care for it's an extra 200,000 people. That's not going to go very far. Seems that it's like can be up to £1,000 a week. In return for the payouts, the sector will have to take on some of the 13,500 patients currently stuck in hospitals. There's a little graph there saying the relationship between the assets people start out with and the proportion of those assets they will have to pay for care under the current system, the black line, and the proposed 86,000 social care cap, which is not coming in. So there you go. It's pretty disappointing, and of course 150,000 people in the last 5 years have died because of this policy, because they need care and they can't get it because they can't afford to pay for it, or it's fact that they have to spend their own cash in order to... Now, you can argue either way with this story. The fact is that social care, it should be social, i.e. paid by the majority. But as we know, people that have a lot of money should they be forced to sell their house or spend their money that they've earned? Because there are people who've done nothing with their lives, they've not bothered saving anything, and they get everything given to them on a plate because they have nothing. Is that right? Well, it's a debate, isn't it? It's a debate. Anyway, it's going to go on, I think, a little while, because the Tories really don't care about anybody except themselves. Right, that's it from me. Have a good day. I'm going to go back to bed. I've got a bit of a headache and not feeling 100%. So I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.